Welcome to D&D Backstory. This is the origin of Max Calibran, the human swashbuckler.
All hands! Secure that bloody mizzen!
Max Calibran is out of his bunk before the second strike of the bell. Jamming his feet into a perfectly shined pair of boots, he dashes to the hatch, shoving his way past groggy crewmen and bursting above decks.
Sail ho, Captain! Storm ho, Captain!
Calibran! Get those thrice-damned gunners out of their bunks and to their stations!
Aye, sir!
And fetch me my sword! To arms, men! Cyclone be damned! Silver Tongue shall not escape us again!
Aye, sir! To stations! All gunners to stations!
Maxwell Calibran was the eldest child of the Lord Admiral Victor Calibran and his lady wife. Victor was a stern man of legendary repute, an admiral whose name was whispered in awe by true-hearted sailors and dread by pirates across the 9 seas. From the moment of his birth, Maxwell was marked to succeed his father, and though the weight of his father's legacy proved to be immense, Max seemed destined to shoulder and further it. Tall and lithe, quick with the blade and even quicker on the uptake, Maxwell was the picture-perfect young gentleman, an avid student of military and maritime history. Max desired nothing so much as to follow in his father's footsteps, serving his nation and purging the noble free seas of those who would plunder and ravage honest folk.
Captain, it's of no use! There's no way the jury mast can hold under the winds!
I said full sail! Calibran, leave those powder monkeys and take the helm! I need a steady hand while we prepare for boarding. The siren's song may be swift, but we are about to prove to that scoundrel Silvertongue that he cannot escape the King's Navy!
Aye, sir!
Good men of the Liar's Lament, are you ready to serve your king and country? To bring this thief and his mongrel crew to justice?
Aye, sir!
Damn right, aye!
The Navy would not accept young officers below the age of 17, but for Victor Calibran's promising young lad, exceptions had been made. And by his 16th birthday, Maxwell had been commissioned as a junior officer and given his first post, a gunner's mate aboard the Liar's Lament, captained by one Gregory Butchins. Captain Butchins had, in turn, served as a gunner's mate under Victor years prior, and thus Max was given every opportunity to learn, thrive, and grow while out at sea. Their task, to track down and bring to justice the notorious pirate Captain Silvertongue, had seemed noble and exciting to Max, who took to life at sea like a fish to water. That, however, had been 3 years ago. Hundreds of storms and thousands of false alarms and missed opportunities ago.
Up, lad.
Max shakes his head groggily and immediately regrets it. Groaning softly, he looks up at the speaker in front of him. He takes in green eyes over a tangled red beard, broad shoulders and a tattered black coat, and the occasional glint of silver peeking out from surprisingly white teeth.
This is not the Lament.
Nay, it's not.
The Lament went down in the hurricane. Captain Butchins, he insisted.
It did. He did.
Which means you turned your ship entirely about, in a hurricane, to rescue stranded sailors and merchants, marines chasing your head.
I did, aye.
Why?
Lad, there were no cannons fired, no battle was declared. I saw good men doomed to drown by the folly of a richer, stupider man than they. What sort of man might be if I were to sail away laughing? Or if I were to look on sadly and tell my crew some ridiculous nonsense about their families and their thoughts and prayers? Nay, boy. I'm sure you've grown up on horror stories of pirates and pillagers, and there are some out there that are all the monster you've been told they are, but I, and the best of my brethren, still have honor, boy. You know something of honor, do you not? Max nods. Then remember this day, lad, and heed my lessons, for you owe me that much. You may think you serve a grand and noble cause, serving the king and all that nonsense. But noble is relative, and grand is a matter of perspective. There are good men and bad men across all trades and creeds, pirate and kingsmen alike. Never let a man's misplaced sense of duty get in the way of your honor. Flags can be changed, uniforms replaced, sins forgiven. But your honor is yours and yours alone, boy, and you should do it serious damage you may find it impossible to repair, as your beloved liars lament. If you choose to be a part of this system you were born into, no man could fault you that. But do not be blind to its faults, lad. If you be a good man, then stand for good always, no matter what colors you be flying. In the years following this strange act of mercy by his one-time quarry, Maxwell continued to serve his nation with honor. Rising through the ranks, he served under many a captain upon many a ship. The Admiralty clearly intent on exposing the young officer to as many different leaders and philosophies as possible. The son of Lord Admiral Calibran, after all, must be shaped into the finest officer the King's Navy had ever seen. Across the breadth of these experiences, Max was occasionally given cause to doubt his superiors and fellow sailors, but the strange conversation with Silvertongue had all but faded from Max's head when he was finally forced to confront it.
Sail ho! Admiral Tycho, sir! It's her! That siren song!
A tall, grizzled man in a pristine blue coat, Admiral Tycho lowers his spyglass from his eye and bares his teeth in a small, savage grin.
Indeed. Run up clean onto those rocks, too. Fools must have sailed straight into that storm trying to evade us.
Admiral,
Yes, Mr. Calibran.
shall I rally a boarding party and prepare the hold for prisoners?
No, Mr. Calibran. There is no need for that. Go and tell Mr. Ballance to prepare a full broadside. Every cannon we have, I want to run out portside. Tell him he is to fire whenever ready.
Sir, they have a white flag run up. They've already surrendered.
The grizzled admiral turns and looks coldly at his first officer.
These are not men, Mr. Calibran. They are pirates. Animals. There is to be no quarter for their type. Not now, and not ever. Do you have an objection to that, First Officer Calibran?
Max clenches his teeth.
No, sir. I'll relay the order now, sir.
Yes, you will.
And as cannon fire exploded into the night and shredded the remains of the siren song, Max Calibran looked upon the massacre with clenched fists, his mind on another wrecked vessel in another storm, on a pirate captain who had once shared with him perspective. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Late that night, a lifeboat is quietly lowered off the side of Admiral Jacob Tycho's Royal Hammer, filled with as many rations and waterskins as its inhabitant could spirit away. Dipping the oars silently, Max Calibran disappears shade-like into the darkness. There was nothing he could have done to stop it, but the casual slaughter of a man who had once shown he and his fellow sailors mercy had finally made him see what Silvertongue had been trying to show him so long ago. Max Calibran would never again sail under the colors of any nation, never let any man lead him into a hurricane or force blood onto his hands. He raises the boat's sail and tacks into the wind, breathing deep. He knows not where he will go, only that he would carry on the legacy of the honorable pirate Silvertongue. And for the first time in his life, Max Calibran took his honor, and indeed his very destiny, into his own hands.
Thanks for watching. You can find download links for this character's sheets in the description below. And if you'd like any advice on how to play them or how to DM for them, check out the how-to video in the description. We've also got a Patreon where you can gain access to other fun D&D backstory content in the description. To find all of our other characters and how-to videos, head over to the channel by clicking the D&D backstory below.